Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another Jets Media live stream. And in this one, Ali and myself will be talking about the Jets preseason week 1. And there's so much to talk about. I already made 2 videos about it. Ali made a video about it himself on his channel. But even though we already made our own videos, we still want to go live because we want to interact with everybody in the chat. We want to hear what you guys have to say about Zach Wilson's debut. Guys on the defensive end like Bryce Huff, like CJ Mosley. There's so much that we can take away from this week 1 performance from the New York Jets in the preseason. So, Ali, what's going on, my brother, and how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm a little bit tired. The room's a bit of a mess right now. I'm moving tomorrow. I'm going to my new apartment tomorrow, so everything's all over the place. But we finally saw Jets football. I'm excited to finally talk about actual film for the Jets. So, let's get started, man.
Let's get started. Shout out to everybody in the chat. What's good, AB, Hayden, Nate, Anthony, Dan, what's good? Kid Perfect, what's up, buddy? And shout out to everybody tuning in on Twitter. I see you guys, 19 of you tuning in from Twitter. I appreciate that. So we're going to start off right away with Zach Wilson because he's obviously the talk of this entire team simply because he's playing the most important position in every sport, the quarterback. And he made his first debut with the New York Jets in the preseason, and he looked very comfortable. He looked very poised. I think every single Jets fan is very happy with what they saw from Zach Wilson simply because he did not make any mistakes. He did not try to do too much. He was with good timing with his receivers like Corey Davis. He converted on third down. He looked like a leader, and I'm super excited to talk about Zach Wilson in the stream. So, guys, we're going to go into it deeply. We're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A later on in the stream, so you guys in the chat can ask Ali and myself any question you might have about the Jets preseason. Before we get into it, I just want to go over some news that's happened today. Quinnen Williams is back. He was at practice today stretching. He's not going to be playing week 2 of the preseason, but this is such good news that Quinnen Williams is on track to play week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. And then injury news with Elijah Moore. He's week to week. He is not practicing this week at all. Robert Saleh is hopeful for him to be practicing next week, but he's not concerned at all about him not playing at week 1 against the Panthers. And then Elijah Vera Tucker is continuing to be day-to-day with the pec strain. And then Ryan Griffin is getting evaluated with the hamstring. So that's all the injury news. So with that being said, Ali, do you want to give your overall thoughts of the game in particular and Zach Wilson?
Yeah, let's talk about first Zach Wilson. Obviously, we only saw 2 drives out of him, and it was kind of enough for me. And obviously, first of all, I think we're kind of like don't want the injury. I think we're all scared of players getting injured in preseason because I feel like we saw that with Mark Sanchez a couple of years ago, and you just don't want it happening again. But Zach Wilson out there, man, he looked poised. He was doing everything correct. I think that second drive would have lasted longer if they had a better play for 4th and 1. But it's just preseason. It's preseason week 1. They're not going to reveal everything they got in their playbook. But what Zach Wilson showed, I like the play action stuff they use. Getting him on the run. That's what it is. That's what he likes to do. That's what he's been known for in college. His mobility, him to get out of the pocket, and man, he has a zip in his throw. That one throw he had to Keelan Cole, that was a zip. And that's gonna go a long, long way. And then that's why the comparisons of Rodgers, Mahomes come up because those guys throw like that too. So he has that throwing motion of those guys. Obviously, he's not that talented right now, but he has the potential right there. And I think he was reading he was staying tough in the pocket. He took a hit, but still delivered the throw. He was looking eyes up at all times. He didn't look down. He didn't go. He was playing pretty well. Like he was confident out there. And that's a really good thing to have. I don't care what defense you're playing. I know it's a Giants banged up defense, but like for a rookie quarterback who has never seen an NFL type environment, he did pretty well. So overall, the Jets, obviously, we're probably going to get into the Jets defensive line later on, and the cornerbacks and all that, and the wideouts and stuff. But for Zach Wilson, that was a good start. We'll see how he progresses into Green Bay because that's going to be a good game to watch.
Yeah, man. Very well said. I think Jets fans should all be excited about what we saw from our rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson. What I took away from it the most, and I said this in all my videos, but going into the game, I wasn't really concerned about his throw accuracy or what his arm looked like. What I wanted to see from Zach Wilson in his first time suiting up with the Jets is, can he command a huddle? Does he look like an NFL quarterback? And what I mean by that is, does he look like the game's too big for him? Does he have happy feet in the pocket? Is he indecisive? Is his mind working too fast? And all those all those questions were answered. And Zach Wilson looks so confident. He looks so poised, looks so comfortable. And that's the biggest takeaway you can take. Like, it doesn't matter what his arm did, in my opinion, but at the same time, it's a big positive that his arm looked that live, because it was ridiculous. He was chucking seeds out there. But what I took away from Zach Wilson the most, his timing with guys like Corey Davis, the anticipation on that 3rd and 9. If you guys remember, it was an out route, man-to-man coverage. Zach Wilson recognized what the defensive was giving them, and he looked at Corey Davis and he understood that, all right, Corey Davis is going to the sticks. He's going to cut to the sideline for an out route, and the ball was out of Zach Wilson's hands before Corey Davis even made his cut. That's anticipation. That's timing. That's something that rookies don't do. Like, that's something that the elite quarterbacks do. And I'm not saying that's guaranteed that Zach Wilson's going to be elite, but it's awesome that we saw him, flash that type of potential. And then you go to the bullet throw, another 3rd down conversion to Keelan Cole, 3rd and long. Once again, the pocket was very clean. Morgan Moses blocked well for him. He steps up, throws an absolute seed down the middle of the field, like effortlessly. Like, this guy's motion is something that we're not used to. Like, comparing it to Sam Darnold, he had a hitch in his throwing motion. It was never like a fluid thing. And there's not a lot of quarterbacks in the league that has the ability to have the release like as quickly as Zach Wilson. Guys like Rodgers has it. Not saying that Wilson's going to be Rodgers, but everybody throws around that comparison simply because of the way he throws the football. And you can see it, man. The ball flies out of his arm. Like, it's just, you can call it the zip, whatever term you want to say, but it was an absolute seed to Keelan Cole, very tight window to complete it for the 1st down. And then the second drive got absolutely ruined from a offensive pass interference, which is very frustrating because he converted another 3rd down to Jamison Crowder, but there was a penalty away from the ball on Keelan Cole, and it had no impact on the play whatsoever. And that resulted them to go back, and it was 3rd and 14. And then Zach Wilson, I think this is actually one of his most impressive throws of the game. Morgan Moses got beat. Dan Feeney got beat, and there's pressure in the face of Zach Wilson. He steps up and throws it to Tyler Kroft, effortlessly on the money. And then Tyler Kroft gets up there, and he is just shy of the 1st down marker. And then that's what resulted in the 4th and 1. And then it was a handoff up the middle to Ty Johnson, which I think we all agree. I called that coming. I said in my head, I'm like, please don't hand it up the middle and get stuffed. That's all I ask. And that's exactly what happened. But what I'm trying to say is, if that offensive pass interference call was not if that did not happen, who knows what would have happened? Zach Wilson could have marched down the field, had a touchdown. They could have put 3 more points up on the board. But, it's not about the stats. It's all about how Zach Wilson looked as an NFL quarterback. There's been rave reviews around the NFL about him. Everybody's been impressed. And it's a very, very small sample size. It's hard to read into a preseason game against backups. But like I said, guys, it doesn't really matter who he's going up against. What we want to evaluate from this kid right now is, does the game look too big for him? Is it somebody that you have confidence that, okay, he can make the throws within the pocket? That's another thing I noticed, because Zach Wilson in BYU, if you look up all his highlights, every single highlight is him rolling out to the right, rolling out to the left when the play breaks down, with backyard football. And that's where Zach Wilson becomes spectacular. He's not really known to be a 100% pocket passer, and that's okay. But in that game, every single throw was within the pocket, and that's very huge because you need to be able to throw it in the pocket consistently if you want to be an elite quarterback. And he showed that. He has the zip, he has the accuracy, he has the swagger. He was hyping up Morgan Moses, patting his right tackle on the back, saying, let's go, 1st down. He protected Zach. So he's just shown me leadership, and it's just refreshing to see a quarterback out there that has a different energy to him. So is there anything else you want to bring up about Zach Wilson before we move on to other pieces to the game, Ali?
Honestly, we pretty much covered it all, but I just want to see him get used to these receivers more, get more comfortable, because I liked what they were doing on this offense, and they were moving the ball because the run game is really important. And that's what they were there with Ty Johnson. Michael Carter, they were running the ball and getting down the field, and that's going to be very important for this entire season, especially at the beginning of the season, because they're going to try to take the pressure off Zach Wilson, especially in Carolina, an away game. To be a packed house, fans are back for the first time as a fuller
I'll be
stadium,
there.
and it's going to be pretty loud for him. And at BYU, it wasn't as packed crowds as NFL. So it's going to be a really big experiment. So I think they're with the run game that they're trying to develop. That's very important for Zach Wilson, and I think Zach Wilson knows that. And Zach Wilson's understanding the game a little bit more. He knows he needs to make those big plays. He knows he has to hit his receivers. And so far, in the 2 drives we saw of him, he was delivering those throws, the third down conversions, and just moving the ball and looking consistently, looking up, trying to make the play go longer. He was not on the ground, which is a big thing for him. He was never on the ground. He was always either throwing it away or finding a guy too. I mean, I know there was a couple drops from other receivers, but like he had a pretty good, decent game, and he was looking at all his reads, and that's very important for a rookie quarterback. Something that Sam Darnold kind of didn't do, especially in the preseason. So we'll see if he can develop that even more. But so far, so good. We'll see how he does in Green Bay, because Green Bay is a tough team. So I think they're going to probably play a little bit of the starters. So that would be a good competition for him.
Yeah, man. Green Bay is going to be a big test for him. Also, the Jets are doing a collaborative practice with Green Bay. They're going to have a joint practices, so he's going to be able to watch Aaron Rodgers. It's interesting because everybody's comparing him to Aaron Rodgers simply because of the way he throws the football. So hopefully Zach Wilson takes a little notes of what A-Rod does to get prepared for the week. And it's definitely a big test for Zach Wilson going into week 2. Can he be consistent? Can he do the same thing? Can we get in the end zone? So that's what we're going to look out for. The next segment I want to talk about is indeed Denzel Mims, because Denzel Mims had a very, very good performance in my eyes. Listen, we know that Denzel Mims is not playing with the first team. We understand that. But he took advantage of his opportunities, and that's all you can ask. He's working his way up the depth chart. He's also on the first team for special teams. If you guys did not know that, I actually noticed it during the game. I'm like, wow, Denzel's on special teams. He's never been on special teams before, so that's interesting. But Denzel, man, that 3rd and 19 yard after the catch, picking up the first down was unbelievable. That tells you the type of player he is with the ball in his hands. He's not just a guy that's going to catch the ball and go down with it. He's going to pick up yards after the catch. We just were not able to see that in year 1 because we had a guy named Adam Gase running the show. So all these, beat reporters, just creating these narratives that Denzel's going to be on the roster bubble. He might get traded, he might get cut. Please don't read into that. Even though that he's not getting first team reps, the reason is because he, as we know, had to get food poisoning. And he lost a lot of weight. He showed up to OTAs, losing 20 pounds. He's been trying to work his way up. So there's a lot of people ahead of him in the depth chart because they've been with the coaching staff longer. So he's a lot to prove. And I like that the Jets are doing that because it's going to spark a fire within Denzel. So Denzel showed to me that he's a special talent, and the Jets fans should not worry. That one play in particular was unbelievable. His ability to catch it, and he understood the situation that they were in, that they needed this first down. It was 3rd and long, a quick hitch 5-yard catch, and then he ran it for another 15 yards, and he was hyped up after that. Robert Sala's pumping him up. You see the picture of Jamison Crowder and Marcus May behind him, happy for Denzel. So what was your thoughts of Denzel Mims in his first preseason game of his career?
I mean, he played like he was pissed off. He played angry. There's doubters against him for no exact reason. And he's a talented receiver, and that's why Joe Douglas drafted him last year. It took us so long. We traded down like 2-3 times to get Denzel Mims. Everyone was screaming to get Denzel Mims. Now Denzel Mims on the field, and now reporters and stuff are kind of like, why is this? He's not a scheme fit. Who cares about a scheme fit, man? Everything's not about the scheme fit. Yes, it is. It comes big time. Like Elijah Moore is a scheme fit. All these guys are scheme fits. But you guys need a Brandon Marshall type player on your team, and that's what Denzel Mims is. He's a guy who can catch the ball and boost up steam and get a couple 10 yards like he did in the preseason game. He broke pretty much half the ankles of the Giants defenders. Literally, that's what he did. And that's what you're going to get out of him. I know that Robert Salah because we didn't know a lot of information about this until last week when he told the media what happened. But it's about getting back on track. He was definitely going to be more involved in the season starts. Maybe they don't want to risk an injury because he does have an injury history. You don't know what they're trying to do. But Robert Salah, literally, when he was asked about Denzel Mims, he had a smile on his face the entire time. He knows that he's a special player. He knows that he could be a player that Zach Wilson and Denzel Mims can create a good connection with. This wide receiver core is pretty good. It's decently good. There's a lot of depth at wide receiver, and the Jets finally have receivers, and that's why Denzel Mims. People were like, "Oh, Denzel Mims is going to be cut because of the amount of people that the Jets have had and how many playmakers are been in training camp and all that." But Denzel Mims is a talented receiver, and he showed us on Saturday, and I think he's gonna keep showing it. He's gonna keep getting better. He's just trying to get back in shape. That's what Mims is trying to get to. He's still a pretty solid. He needs to clean up a lot of his footwork and all that stuff, his route running. But he showed it. He had 3 receptions for 51 yards. That for a preseason game, that's pretty solid. And then with special teams, I saw him be around that in the punt return and all that stuff. So he was very involved with this team, and I think they value him more than a wide receiver. They value him as a leader on that team. So I think that's just garbage. And he's not fighting for a roster spot. He's just fighting to get back on the depth chart.
Facts, man. I agree. So that's our thoughts of Zach Wilson and Denzel Mims. Before we hop into the next segment, I just want to mention, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. I see you guys in the chat. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you're just new to the stream, we got 17 likes here on YouTube with over 54 of you guys watching. So make sure you smash that thumbs up button. We appreciate it. We're going to try to go live every single Monday from now all the way until the end of time. We'll try our best for you guys because it's been a while. We're trying to be consistent. We're trying to make some room to make sure that we can talk some Jets football. So the next piece I want to talk about, we're going to talk about all offense, and then we're going to talk about the defense. So the next part of the offense I want to talk about is the run game because the run game looked very good. And as we know that this run game is dependent on the offense. Mike LaFleur said over and over again, and we see it in Green Bay. We see it in LA with the Rams. You see it in the 49ers. If you cannot establish a run game, the offense doesn't work. It's a little scary because if you don't establish a run game, then the offense won't look good. Well, the first play of the game for the Jets offense, first team, was a handoff to Ty Johnson for a nice 12-yard first down. Mekhi Becton led the way. The offense looked great. The offensive run game looked great. First of all, the play designs, the scheme, everything was so refreshing as a Jets fan. We're going from Adam Gase to this beautiful run offense. Ty Johnson looked very impressive to me. We saw Michael Carter's debut. He looked very impressive to me as well. And then my guy, LaMichael Pirine, took the best of his opportunity with the second team. He got in the end zone. And how about that? Our 2 sophomore offensive players, Denzel Mims and LaMichael Pirine, are the reason why we scored a touchdown in this game. Pirine had a 12-yard first down on that drive. He had another good run. And then he got the ball from the 5-yard line, and he powered that in. It wasn't just he got the ball on the inch-yard line, the goal line, and just stuck his head in. LaMichael Pirine is a bruiser. I've always been on the Pirine train. Ali knows it. You guys that watch all my videos, I've never said anything bad about him. I'm never one of those, because I know there's Jets fans that have given up on him, saying that might get cut because he's not a scheme fit. I always disagreed simply because we are going into a season with a lot of running back depth, and this running back room is versatile, and Pirine brings an element to this running back room that other backs in this room doesn't have, and that's the power element. That's the ability to be a bruiser. You need that. I understand that this offense is more, you need to be fast. You need to have the wide zone spread. But we got people on the team for that. We have Ty Johnson for that reason. We have Michael Carter for that reason. We have the veteran Tevin Coleman, who's been a speedy threat his entire career. So then you put in Pirine at the goal line. He's the goal line guy. 3rd and 1, give it to Pirine. He's also a good passing, catching back. He's a balanced running back, and I'm happy that he really performed well in his first preseason game with the Jets because I've always been high on him. I never understood the hate on Pirine. Just because he's not a scheme fit doesn't mean he can't play well, just like Denzel. Denzel Mims, He's proven to be a guy that needs to work on his route running a little bit, but the yak ability is there. And this scheme, you need to be able to get yards after the catch, and he proved that the other day. So with the running game, you also have to give credit to the big boys up front. The offensive line were paving the way. It just looked like we won in the trenches this entire game. Honestly, we're gonna get into the defensive line eventually because that's woo. So yeah, that's my thoughts of the running game. I think that the Jets are really going to be a ground and pound oriented team because if you look at the Packers last year, right? The Packers offense is run by Mike LaFleur's brother, Matt LaFleur, as we know, Aaron Rodgers. And if you guys watch their games, and we'll see them up close this weekend, they rely on the run game. And Aaron Rodgers just has to make one or two really good plays a game for them to win. They won 13 games last year, went all the way to the NFC Championship. They have a very good defense, and their running attack was legit with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams at the time. And Aaron Rodgers obviously played well because he won MVP, but it was a very balanced attack. And I feel like that's what the Jets are trying to replicate, having a balance of offensive running game and passing attack, because the run game is what sets it up with the play actions, the bootleg. So what was your initial reaction to the Jets running game with all the running backs like Ty Johnson and Carter and Pirine?
It's a fresh thing to see because the offense was moving the ball. What we saw last year was we just forcing the ball with Frank Gore. That's what it was for the Jets, and we weren't even using the Michael Pirine right last year. So like this year, this offense relies heavily on the running game, especially they know that it's Zach Wilson. He's a rookie. He's going to need the run game to help him out. And that's why this offense, this system has been so successful in the past years. They've been developing quarterbacks because they take the pressure off the quarterback. They pretty much use the run game to help him settle in and, thrive in this offense. And that's what they're going to try to do. You saw that in the preseason. There were in the first play, I think it was Ty Johnson, and he ran for 10 yards. That was a big, the big play for like to start the drive. So they're going to try to pound the ball. They didn't have Tevin Coleman. So, I mean, you have four running backs, I feel like, in Tevin Coleman, Ty Johnson, La'Mical Pirine, and Michael Carter. These four guys are all going to get carries. They're all going to be out there getting reps and trying to move the ball. It's the same thing that they did in San Francisco, and they're going to try to figure out a way to move the ball and take the pressure off Zach Wilson. The attack looked pretty decent. I mean, Ty Johnson, I believe, had 33 yards, and then Pirine had almost 30 yards, I believe, too, and Carter 22 yards. So it was decent. They didn't play as much as we thought, but they looked pretty good. They looked fast. They looked like they were ready to go. And this overall offense, man, it looked energetic. It looked like a team that has a chip on his shoulder. It has energy, and it's hungry for it. They like to be the underdogs. They want to be the underdogs, and they're just flying around all over the place. We're going to talk about defense, and I'm excited to talk about the defense because that defense looks elite, especially at the defensive line. But for the running backs, man, I am so excited to see this running back because we're going to see a lot of touchdowns from these guys. We're going to see them a lot this year, especially in the beginning of the year with, so Zach Wilson can get comfortable because you have two big matchups coming up with Panthers and the Patriots to start off the season, and that's some big games right there. So, yeah, I mean, I liked what I saw. Hopefully we can see Tevin Coleman this week. I just want to see how he looks. But obviously he's a veteran, so we kind of know. But seeing these running backs go off and Carter kind of excites me about this. It's young, it's hungry, and I think they're ready to go.
Yeah, man. And one other thing before we move on from the offense that we should bring up is the injuries to Elijah Vera Tucker and Elijah Moore. Those two guys are going to play a big role on this team this year. We did not have our starting left guard. We did not have the best wide receiver on the team, according to all the people that are going to the training camp, because Elijah Moore looks like he is destined to be a Pro Bowler with the way he showed up to practices. And hopefully he'll be ready in time for week 1. I think he will be. That's the good news, that this injury happened earlier in training camp instead of like at the end, because if that's the case, he would have missed a chunk of the beginning of the season. So I'm excited to see what the offense is going to look like when we all get healthier, when we do get both Elijahs back. So let's pivot to the defense, because the defense was unbelievable. As Zachary mentioned, the Giants only had 158 yards overall on offense against the Jets defense. And this was so awesome because, us diehard fans, Ali and myself, and all you guys in the chat, some people might not think preseason's fun, but then there's the football nerds like us where, wait, we know every single player on this roster and we want to see who's going to, fight for the job in the fourth quarter. All the third and fourth stringers, those are all the guys in the roster bubble trying to make the team. And I love that. I absolutely love it. And everybody that was out there for the defense, whether it's the first, second, third, or fourth team, looked great. And was the common knowledge, the common thread between every single team, no matter if it was first, second, or third? The front seven was insane. We were getting to the quarterback, putting pressure all the time. Like, I don't know what's happening. And the cool thing about this scheme that I noticed from Robert Saleh and Ulbrich, this 4-3 base, there's no complicated, thing to it. Like, Greg Williams was very complex about his stuff. So was Todd Bowles. But this scheme is just very fundamentally okay, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. What's your technique? And then the rest of the job is just play football. There's no disguises. There's no exotic blitzes. It's just these 4 up front getting to the quarterback. That's your job. That's the only thing you have to do. And then if they rarely blitz the quarterback because they have confidence in those 4 men beating those offensive linemen. So we saw Bryce Huff have 2 sacks. He looks like he's going to be a very good player for the Jets this year. We saw guys like Sheldon Rankins have a quarterback hit. We saw John Franklin Myers knock the ball out of Mike Lennon's hand, and Hamza Nasruddin almost had an interception. We saw CJ Molsey get a pass deflection. We saw Marcus May making plays. We saw Hamilcar Rashed Jr. and the rookie John Marshall making plays. It was just awesome to see. We saw Jamian Sherwood and Hamza playing together, our 2 linebacker safety hybrids. We saw the rookie corners. We saw Pinnock. We saw Eccles. It was just so fun to see these young defensive guys going out there. Everybody looked fluid out there. They were high, hits everywhere. They were getting to the quarterback with ease. And we absolutely dominated the Giants up front. And the Giants, they had, obviously did not have Daniel Jones as their quarterback, but it was their first team offensive line. It was Andrew Thomas. It was Matt Peart as their tackles. And they absolutely exposed them. Bryce Huff completely abused everybody. Carl Lawson got to the quarterback once. It was just so fun to watch. And I love this defense because it's just so the whole premise of it is we are going to make the quarterback's job hell if you try to throw on us. And I love that. So, Ali, what's your overall thoughts of the Jets defense as a whole from the Jets game on Saturday?
They looked fast. They looked fast and hungry. And I feel like every play, there's always someone there to make the tackle. There's always someone hustling to make the tackle. I'm looking at the list of how many tackles. We have 20 guys that got tackles on that game. That's nuts. Defensive line, the first team, the second team, the third team, they were all good. They were all flying around, making plays. Cornerbacks, Eccles made a play. There's so many. It was a domination on defense. It was a domination, and I kind of was expecting that. And to think that you don't have Quentin Williams on the field, and then you add Quentin Williams to that defensive line.
Oh my!
Goodness. And then Isaiah Dunn is not even playing. I think Isaiah Dunn is probably the most impressive corner that's been in this camp so far. He's hurt.
Oh, he is. I didn't know that.
So I don't know if he's back, but yeah, he wasn't playing. So Isaiah Dunn was one of the most exciting. The Jets went all out an undrafted rookie and paid him the most out of any undrafted rookie signed this year, and he's played to his hype. But this defense, man, it's what Robert Saleh preaches, man. He wanted to give these young guys a chance. And I knew he was going to have fun with these guys. That's why he wasn't going out for veteran cornerbacks, not veteran safeties. He's not going to go out for any veteran guys. He liked the guys that are on the roster right now because he wants to build his own team. He wants to build his own legacy here in New York, and he likes these guys that are right now there. Bringing in veteran talent and whatever will just take away the spotlight off these younger guys, and they like this. There's not so spotlight right now that they have, but they want to prove everyone wrong. And, what I saw was energy in that defense. Everyone was flying around. Everyone was from the other side of the field would be literally running across the field to get to where the ball is, the ball carrier is. Everyone was alert. Everyone was ready to go. Everyone knew what position they want to do. The starting defense, CJ Mosley was commanding. The Jets they needed their commander in chief. Jamal Adams, when he was here, he was the commander in chief of that defense. CJ Mosley coming back, he's pretty much, you saw him commanding guys. You saw him telling them to move left and right to be in coverage. He was the guy who was leading that backfield, and that's what they needed desperately. Carl Lawson, he was not out there for very long. He looked elite. He looked great. He looked fast. He looked like a guy that is looking for 18 sacks. Like, that's what his mindset is, because he gets to the quarterback. There's no doubt he gets to the quarterback. So he's just going to have to finish it. He says that literally in an interview, he said that I get to the quarterback, but I need to sack him now. Like, I get there, but I don't finish the sack and I don't finish the job. And now I feel like he can, because I think he's worked hard on his mechanics. He's worked hard on getting better. And the same thing with CJ Mosley on the one Jets drive. We saw his entire setup in the basement. He's been training for 2 years to get better and be ready for this moment for the New York Jets. So this defense is very exciting. I think the defense is very underrated. They look fast. They look ready to go. They look pumped. And I think the cornerback position is still a question mark, but these young guys are playing their hearts out, and I think they're getting better and better. They made some plays. They had some ups and downs in the first preseason game, but overall it wasn't as bad for the corners. I don't think someone got really burnt. Besides, I forgot that one corner, Valentine. He got burned a couple times, but that's about it. So I'll take the positives out of that. But overall, good job, guys. That defense is developing into a solid team that could be a good defense for years to come.
Seriously, man. And we knew what the formula is for this Jets defense going into the season, but now we finally got to see it on the field and see what it looks like. And it was just, I'm kind of like just enamored of how basic it looks. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I just love how it's just so not complex, and they just let the players play football. Like, put them in the right situations. They call the play. They know what they have to do, and they execute, and that's it. They play fast. They play hungry. That all gas, no break mentality. And that if you think of it from the front office perspective, when they heard the scheme and what they need to bring in on defensively, they needed guys that can get to the quarterback. And how long have Jets fans waited to do that? We've always had great Jets defensive line. And I feel like for the past decade, that's been our strong suit forever. But we've been always good at stopping the run, but not getting to the quarterback. And I feel like this is the year for the Jets to do that. And if you look at the schedule for the Jets, listen, against the Panthers, week 1, the weakness to that team is the offensive line. And you know what happens if you go up, if a great defensive line gets to see a not good offensive line, who's going to win that battle? We saw it in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league right now, and he could not do anything in the Super Bowl simply because he had no time, because they just sent the house at him every single time, and the Buccaneers had a crazy defensive front. So that's what the Jets are trying to do. They're trying to make the opposing quarterback hate them because they can't throw the ball. They're going to force them to try to run it down their throats, and if you stop the run, they're going to force them to throw it. And I just love how fast everybody played. Seeing CJ Mosley out there was so refreshing because, we've been waiting for CJ to do anything for the Jets ever since we signed his contract and ever since he tore up his groin. And seeing Jamie Sherwood step up and be that, linebacker that was controlling the defense when CJ went to the bench because the first team was off the field, that was awesome to see. And I mentioned it earlier, but Jonathan Marshall was probably one guys that I was impressed with the most out of all the rookies. He looked like he was playing like men amongst boys. There's so many. That safety, him and Hamilcar Rashed Jr., he made that right guard. He just ate him for lunch. He absolutely destroyed him. And it's just so sick that we have a 6th-round rookie in John Marshall that we're just going to develop over time. We're so deep at the position. He's probably going to be the last guy in the depth chart. And it's just it's so phenomenal. And I saw some guys in the chat asking about Ashton Davis. Ashton Davis is injured. He's not going to be healthy until week 2 of the regular season, which is why he's not in preseason. So we're not going to see any Ashton Davis throughout training camp or any of that, as well as Vinny Curry. So it really does look refreshing that we have a defensive front like this, that we can really put the pressure on the defense. On the quarterback, because it's so refreshing seeing. I feel like Bryce Huff is going to be the most underrated player on the line. I also feel like Faloranzo Fatukasi eating up the run game is going to be huge. Jalen Franklin Myers, of course. Quinnen Williams up the middle. Sheldon Rankins is a pass rushing beast up the middle. Like, this Jets defensive line, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we really have a chance to be like a top 5, top 10 defensive line in football. What do you say to that, Ali? Or am I getting a little carried away?
No, because not just Jets fans are saying that. People around the league are saying that about the Jets. Not just Jets fans. That's why I'm more confident about that take, because first of all, you have Robert Saleh as your head coach, and he was probably one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. And it's not crazy to say that this team could be a top 10. I'll say top 10, not top 5 right now, but top 10 is very realistic for this defensive line of how deep they are. If you look at the stat line from last year, if you look at the guys they brought in, they could be top 10. And that's what a lot of people in the league think. And, not just Jets fans, Giants fans who saw what this defense, a lot of Giants fans that I know were like, your defensive line's sick. Reporters on NFL Network, they're noticing that the Jets defensive line is something that you should watch. The beat reporters, most beat reporters that I hate on the Jets, are saying that as well. So, who have absolutely no bias, like any intention for the New York Jets. They say what they want, but the Jets defensive line is going to be scary. If they can stay healthy, they still have depth there who can come in and make an impact. It's really realistic, top 10, man. And I think if they can do that, the Jets have chances to win these ball games this year.
They really do. I mean, you win at the line of scrimmage, guys, and if we can absolutely win on the defensive side of the ball at the line of scrimmage, all Zach Wilson has to do is protect the football and make a couple plays. That's it. It sounds simple. It sounds a little too easy. But if this Jets defensive line can just take over games, it's so possible for us to steal some games. If we go up against a very good opponent, like later on in the year, there's a chance that we can come out with a victory if the defensive line has one of the better days. That's how important it is. And I love that the front office is investing everything into the D-line. They gave Carl Lawson that contract. They brought in Sheldon Rankins. And they have like so much depth. It's ridiculous. They even bring in Jonathan Marshall in the 6th round, who I feel like is going to shock a lot of Jets fans over the course of the next couple of seasons. Marshall's going to be one of those players that develops over time. If you remember, Foldy Fatukasi, a 5th round pick, he developed over time. He didn't really do anything his rookie season. And then all of a sudden, sophomore year, he's like a household name. Like that's the reality of, defensive linemen taken later in the draft. And it's just refreshing, guys. Bryce Huff looked explosive as hell. Hamilcar Rashed Jr. looked explosive as hell. Like, those are our 2 undrafted free agent rookies in the past 2 draft classes. So Joe Douglas understands where to find value in these draft classes, because we did not have to use a draft pick on Huff. We did not have to use a draft pick on Rashed Jr. We'll see if Rashed Jr. can make the team, but he looked very impressive to me in his debut with the Jets. Very explosive, very fast, energetic, getting to the quarterback. Man, this Jets defense is very exciting. It really is. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do all throughout training camp the rest of the season, because, going over today's training camp, the star of the Jets training camp was Carl Lawson. Who else would it be? Carl Lawson's unbelievable in training camp. It's like he's unblockable. And for those guys that ever seen the movie Matrix, he literally compared himself to Neo. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. I love Neo. And what he meant by that in the Matrix, for people that have not seen the films, Neo, this whole perspective, he's in the Matrix, it's a simulation, and he's trying to have an awakening and try to understand what's going on. And then when he has his awakening, then everything's happening naturally. He's not thinking, he's just reacting. Everything's happening on command. He's not overthinking anything. So what Carl Lawson was saying about he feels like Neo from the Matrix is, right now I'm at a point in my career where I'm not thinking, I'm just playing, I'm reacting, I'm instinctually, dominating. And that's when you get to the top potential of no matter what position you are in this league. Even as a quarterback, if you're thinking too much, you're going to throw picks. You need to be just playing on your instincts. And that's what Carl Lawson's doing, is on another level. I'm expecting Carl Lawson to get at least 10 sacks this year, and that's a big number. I really think he could do that realistically. I'm expecting Quinnen Williams. And one thing about Quinnen Williams I want to mention, we have to be very expectations for Quinnen Williams has to be a little different this year, simply because of him, missing OTAs, missing training camp. He's going to be a little slow. I'm not expecting Quinnen Williams to come out of the gate week 1 and just dominate. I mean, can he do that? Yeah, of course. But I feel like Quinnen Williams is going to take like first 4 or 5 games, he's going to look solid. And then throughout the course of the season, he's going to get better and better. And then by the end of the year, if he's still healthy, I think that's when Quinnen Williams is going to become like the unblockable Quinn that we've been waiting for next to Sheldon Rankins and all these guys. It's very exciting. I'm jumping for joy. So that's really our thoughts of the offense and defense. Is there anything else you want to add before we open this up to a Jets Q&A, Ali?
No, nothing, man. I hate to be very optimistic about a preseason game. It's kind of, but to see your new team, your new regime out there, and even come with the preseason win, that's a win in my book for a long-term thing, because I think the Jets just have a lot of young guys. We're the 4th youngest team in the league now. And I don't care if you're going up against second team, the third team, whatever. They're gaining experience in the NFL. That's what it's all about. Especially this defense. This defense is very young. They need to figure it out. These corners need to figure it out. These safeties have to figure it out and just learn a little bit more each and every day. They're going against the Packers this week. They're going to have a great week of practice of learning how the NFL works, because Green Bay has a lot of veterans. They have a lot of talent over there. And Bryce Hall might be going against Devontae Adams. Who knows? These matchups are going to be big time for these guys, because they're going to be going against top talent receivers in the league. So, it's good. I like where the team is heading. I like what we saw on Saturday. I like the quarterback play. I like the offensive play calling for most part. The defense looked pretty good. Special teams looked pretty good. Vincent Smith had a lot of flashes. Who was on the roster bubble for the last 2 weeks, but people have moved him up that he could possibly make the team because of special teams. And he's been thriving. So I mean, he could be a gunner for the New York Jets. But the Jets have talent. The Jets have young talent. They just got to figure it out a little bit more. Because when you go week 1, you're going to go up against Robbie Anderson, right? You're going to go up against these top receivers. They have to be ready. This defense has to be ready for these guys. But these experiences are going to help them big time, especially with these joint practices. They're not going to bench during practice. You're not going to bench your player during practice. So they're going to be going at each other. So it's awesome to see this team, man. It's awesome to see this team back in track. Good to see a new quarterback. Now let's see if we can win some ball games.
Yeah, right. I'm happy you brought up Vincent Smith, because I actually wanted to bring him up in this. He actually looks like a player that might get a lot of time, with his offense. He was with the first team. I know Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios were injured, so they're not part of the rotation. So that might have something to do with it. But Vincent Smith took advantage of it. He had a nice first down completion from Zach Wilson. And Vincent Smith, he's known to be a very speedy guy. He fits the scheme. So don't be surprised if you see Vincent Smith out there making plays, man. We have so much depth at the receiver position, to the point where, if we're battling injuries, I'm very confident in the next man up mentality. So with that being said, we're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A. So that means everybody in the chat, you guys ask us any questions, and we will answer them in the order they fly in. So again, guys, make sure you ask us any questions. So shout out to everybody in the chat once again. Also, like the stream if you're not already. We'll greatly appreciate that. Ali and myself are here talking some Jets football. We got a joint practice against the Packers this week, and then reversing them this Saturday. So that's exciting. What's good, John? Good to see you back in the chat. What's good, sports fan? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Trying to get everybody in the chat. What's up, Zachary?
Let's get people on the live.
You want to get people in here?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Ali wants you guys to join us. So that means you guys are going to be in here with Ali and myself. So here we go. Hold on one second. I'm going to set that up. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. So you guys, if you want, you can join in and you can talk to Lee and myself and ask us a couple of questions. All right. I just posted it. It's pinned to the top. So you guys can join in, ask away any questions that you guys want regarding the Jets, and please be respectful. Also, when you guys join, make sure you put the name. When they ask for your name, put it as your name from YouTube so I can, decipher who's who. You know what I mean? So come on in and ask us any questions. Do we trade for CJ Henderson from the Jags? Good question. My answer is no, simply because there's a reason why he wants out. His mind's not there. And I'm not trading for somebody that has any mental, he doesn't really have that. He's there's something going on with him. And he's a very talented player. There's a reason why he got drafted top 10, but I think the Jets should stay away if I'm them. But that's just my take. What about you, Ali?
There's a reason they want younger guys. They want guys that they drafted. And the thing with Joe Douglas, Joe Douglas is not going to throw picks at them right now. Like, there's no way he's going to throw picks at the Jaguars to just get CJ Henderson when they're trying to build their own cornerback. They're trying to bring their own secondary themselves and develop them themselves. So yeah, that's just not a move the Jets are in right now. That would be kind of a win now type move if we wanted to get CJ Henderson. The Jets are far away from that right now, maybe a year or two. So I feel like that would just be a stupid move right now to do because the Jets need those draft picks.
I agree, man. All right, we're still waiting for you guys to join in. I saw somebody, but I think he left. If you guys want to join in and ask Ali and myself any questions in person, you guys click the link in the chat. It's on the top of the live stream chat, and you guys can come in and ask us any questions. If you guys rather not come in, then ask us away in the live chat. We'll try to answer your questions that way. I saw somebody join in, and I was about to let him in, but he left. Let's see. Who would be a surprise cut? Jabari, Cager, Herndon, Cashman? Who? Ali, who do you think has a chance to be a surprise cut? Maybe not one of these players, but someone in general.
A surprise cut.
There's going to be someone.
To be
what do you
honest,
guys think? Everybody in the chat answer this question. Who do you think could be a surprise cut for the Jets?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
I could see Herndon. I could, if you want a real surprise cut, Herndon would be a real surprise cut. Trying to think. I think they're gonna keep Zuniga.
Yeah, that's a Douglas draft pick. I don't see Douglas cutting his own draft pick.
John said Cashman. I don't think they're gonna keep Cashman. It's pretty much for Cashman. It's pretty much he needs to have a good year or he gets cut next year. So
he just needs to stay on the field.
Yeah.
Someone said Fant. No, Fant will be playing a big role in this team, which is the swing tackle. So he's coming in no matter who gets hurt on the right tackle, left tackle position. And even on sets, he'll come in and do the 6-man lineman. Let's see. Any other questions you see? If Wilson gets hurt, who would you prefer, White or Morgan? Right now, I think Mike White is, he's the QB2 on the depth chart. He played with the second team in the preseason. I'm expecting him to continue that. I think Mike White is the more experienced, even though he doesn't have a lot of experience at all. James Morgan is more of a guy that needs way more time to develop. He's more of a guy that has, I love James Morgan. I actually feel like he has a cannon of an arm. He's a relentless work ethic. Every time I went to Jets training camp, he was on the field after practice working by himself. And I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm more of a James Morgan fan than a Mike White fan, if I had to assume, but I think that they're going to go with Mike White just because based on what the coach is. So now we got our first caller joining in. What's good, Anthony?
What's up, boys? How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Welcome back to the stream.
Yo, Ali, you're in my fantasy league, dude.
Yeah. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, dude. Boys, it was so good watching football again, dude. A new era of Jets football, dude. It was sick, dude. Seeing our new coach on the sidelines, dude, Zach Wilson, dude. It was one great night.
What are your thoughts of Zach Wilson?
Dude, like I understand it was only 2 drives, dude, but man, he looked nice and calm in the pocket, dude. Listen, I mean, the O-line was doing a good job protecting him. Like I've seen a lot. I saw great things from him. Like his throw to Keelan Cole, his throw to Corey Davis. Like, dude, he just looked calm out there in his NFL debut, dude. I'm so excited for the season. I know I'm not trying to get too excited about a preseason game, but it's really fun to look forward to.
It's hard not to get excited.
I know.
We've been waiting for football for so
I know.
long. It's finally here,
I know.
and we got to talk. I said going into the preseason, if they do well, we can't overreact. If they do poor, we can't overreact. But here we are, just analyzing what it looked. So, Anthony, you have any questions for us?
I gotta get a question for you guys. So, since tomorrow is the first day of cuts, what are you guys' predictions? Who do you think is going to cut?
It's a good question, man. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the bubble, like at the bottom of the depth chart, that's probably going to go.
Yeah, I'll give you a few guys. I really think Zuniga will probably be cut.
You think so?
I think, dude. Like, I seriously think. Also, like, people like might disagree. I have a feeling. I know, like, dude, this guy is going through like issues off the field, like non-football related issues. Alex Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, if he's not showing up to practice or anything, dude, I have a feeling, dude, they're just going to cut him, dude. I understand, like, he's a Joe Douglas guy. I'm just saying, dude, if he's just not practicing at all, dude, and he's not getting on the field, then I just say cut him, dude. Like, he was one of my cut candidates before the offseason started. So, yeah.
No, yeah, I feel you, man. It's going to be interesting to see who's getting cut. We already saw a move today. We cut the kicker, Chris. So it's later for him. We still have an open kicking competition. Matt Amendola is the only kicker on the roster right now.
Do you think they're going to bring someone in?
Probably. I would assume so. I don't know who. But, a lot of Jets fans are looking for Jose Borealis if he gets cut from the Bucs, where we can snag him up and he could be our kicker number 1. I feel like that's the best case scenario. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony. Well, we appreciate you joining in. Do you have anything else you want to say before I let you go?
So I'm going to say go Jets, dude. I'm excited for this season.
Go Jets, dude. I appreciate you joining in. I'll see you again.
Have a good day, boys.
You too, brother.
You too, man.
Appreciate you. All right, that's Anthony giving us his Jets talk. Always appreciated. Guys, if you want to join in and talk to Ali and myself, don't be shy. The link is in the top of the chat. Ali and I will be going live for the next 5-10 minutes to finish off in this nice, fine evening. So I see everybody in the chat talking away. We got some Dolphins fan tuning in. What's good? Shout out to the Miami Dolphins fans. All right, here we go. There's a good question from the Dolphins fan. Where do you see the AFC ranking 1 for 4? I'm assuming you mean AFC East. How would you rank the AFC East from 1 through 4, Ali?
The Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets, and then the Patriots.
You're putting the Patriots last. It's bold. Well, yeah. If you go based off last year, the Jets are last. But if you're predicting what's going to happen this year, hell yeah, Jets third. Screw the Patriots. Their downfall is going to be real. But I'm going to go with Bills, Jets, Dolphins. Yeah, that's right, Andy. I said it. What are you going to say? I'm just kidding. It's very unrealistic that the Jets can be better than both the Bills and the Dolphins. They're way more built to win now than the Jets. This is a year where the Jets are going to be, establishing a foundation, understanding where we need to work on in the offseason again. First-year head coach, first-year quarterback, first year this, first year that. We're so young and inexperienced where it's going to be almost so hard to not, going into the season, I'm expecting a 6 to 7 win season for the Jets. And you know what? If that happens, I'm okay with it. As long as we saw Zach Wilson perform well, we saw Robert Saleh be an absolute dog, and we saw the defense make strides. And let's go all in next year because we have 2 firsts and 2 seconds. This isn't the year to make the playoffs. And I think Jets fans understand that. We need to hold back our expectations a little bit. And that's not saying we can't exceed them, guys. I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan. And the Knicks, I said last year going into the season, I'm like, all right, another year for the Knicks. They'll probably be like an 11th, 12th seed, miss the playoffs. and they're the damn 4th seed in the East out of nowhere. So that tells you that any team can just exceed expectations anywhere. So the Jets can win the AFC East for all I know. Right? Can you imagine that? I'd die. Steven thinks we're going 9-8. Sign me the hell up, bro. I think we go 7-11. Okay. I think the ceiling this year is higher than people think. I agree. I think what this season is going to do for the Jets is we're going to be put on the map nationally. You know what I mean? I think Jets fans understand what's happening within this organization, whether it's everything's different, the mindset's different, the culture's different, but outside perspective, they still look at the Jets and laugh. It's the reality. Everybody that's not a Jets fan, that's an NFL fan, when they think of the New York Jets, they're like, the Jets? The Jets? You know what I mean? So I think this is the year for that narrative to change. And people are going to look at the Jets and like, damn, they have a bright future. That's what I want. Like if we can get that mentality from people, and like, not that I care what other people think about the Jets, but I just feel like this is the year where the Jets can be put on the map and be respected around the league. Where like, yes, this team, they may not be ready this year, but their future is legit with the cap flexibility they have, with the draft picks that they have, the capital, the ability to trade for anybody whenever they want because of the maneuvers that they have. I think it. I really do. See, like, oh, we got my boy Nick. Richie, I'm in the car on the way home from work. Nick, you better not be watching me while driving, bro. I don't want to be the reason why you crash. And we're going to get you on the stream one day, Nick. Because you got to, like, get off that, no one's going to judge you. We're all Jets fans here, right? Join the chat right now, Nick. Click the link in the chat. Do it. You won't. Let's see. Oh yeah, did you see this reply from CJ? Ask Mosey what happens to teams that sleep on the Jets. What did he say? They're gonna get their ass whooped or something?
No, I posted this on my print Instagram page. Let me see.
Like, that's the energy we need, CJ. He's killing that old narrative of the Jets stink.
He said, if opponents are sleeping on the Jets, you're gonna get your ass blown out.
Like, thank you. That's the mentality that needs to be talked about. Like, CJ is the leader this Jets team need. He is probably the most important player on this entire defense, outside of Carl Lawson, simply because of, he's the quarterback of the D. But I love it. I absolutely love it. We got, talk AFC Dolphins. I love you, Richie, but I have Jets going 3-14. See? No one respects us outside of Jets fans. I told you. You know what? You can have that opinion, man, but
look,
it's not happening.
To this Dolphins fan, bro, with a stupid Adam Gase, we had 2 wins. You're going to give us an extra win with a completely improved roster? Come on, man. Come on.
At least give us 5, bro. 5? Like, 5 wins. I believe we will go 6-11 or 7-10. That would triple our win total. This is a positive. If the Jets go 7-10, I'll take that, bro. We need improvement. We got so many people joining in right now. If you guys are not already, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We greatly appreciate that. We're going to be going live every single Monday, leading all the way up until the season. I got special guests joining the live stream the next couple of weeks as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned. If you guys want to throw in any last questions before we sign off, feel free to do so. I love talking Jets. We can talk about this for the next 3 hours if I really wanted to. But I got a next summer league game I got to get to. Let's see. What team will have the worst record in the league? The Colts,
Texans.
If Carson Wentz is hurt.
The Texans.
Texans is a good one. Nick, you did not join. Do it again, Nick. I didn't see you. Texans, that's a good one. Who else is going to be terrible? Oh, did you guys see what Phil Simms had to say about Zach Wilson? Did you see that, Ali?
Yeah, he praised him for something, right?
Yeah, he went to training camp.
Yeah, he was
And
with his brother or whatever.
yeah, it was his brother, and he was raving about him, saying all these things. And there's this really good YouTuber, guys. All these Jets fans, you got to watch this. Some of you guys probably already know him. He's a really well-known YouTuber. I think his name is Jack Grugler something. He does film study, and he broke down Zach Wilson's film from the first week one of preseason, and he's all in on Zach Wilson. He's an unbiased perspective. He's not a Jets fan at all. He studies film on everybody, and it's a very good video to watch because he breaks down the whole game, and he just talks about Zach Wilson. It makes you feel like, he's going to be a legend. But it's just good to hear, optimistic things. What I say? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I think Stephen A. Smith had some positive things to say about Zach Wilson today, as well as Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd is the one that's comparing him to Johnny Manziel, and then today he's like, yeah, he has some Aaron Rodgers in him. I mean, which one is it, Colin? What's his name again? Look up Jackson Kruger, Kruegr. Jackson Kruger Sports. That's a YouTuber. He makes great content about breaking down film, and he made one about Zach Wilson. He probably made some all about, Frankie from Flatbush. He said, Jackson Kruger said he's not human. I do remember that. How do you spell the last name here? I'll put it in the chat real quick. Oh, yeah. Kruger Sports. Yeah, I just put it in the chat. That's how you spell it. Definitely check him out. I actually reached out to him. I'm trying to get him on the stream because he's very into Zach Wilson. I would love any pro Zach Wilson people on here. So, guys, any other questions? Let's see if I see it. Can this Jets team make the playoffs? Never say never, but my expectations is not playoffs. I'm not going into the season at all thinking that we're going to make the playoffs because I understand where we're at in the youth movement. This is not the year to go for the playoffs. This roster is not constructed to go to the playoffs. This roster is constructed to develop a foundation of players where we can really go all in the playoffs next year. I think that's the goal for this Jets team. But that's not saying we can't make the playoffs. That's just my expectations. What's your thoughts, Ali?
Yeah. There's no playoff. I mean, it could happen. I mean, it happened to the Knicks. But, realistically right now, after a 2-win team from last year, you can't just say we're going to be playoffs. That's just not a realistic prediction as of now. I could see the ceiling of the wins 8 to 9. I could see them win. And then the lowest wins, I can see like 4 or 5. So either from that range, if they can somehow get into like the 6-7 win range, I'll be happy. If Zach Wilson looks good and he's played the full season healthy, I think that's a win. Just seeing these young guys develop with each other, I think that's what the Jets need right now, rather than, all the hype for years. So I think right now they just need to develop correctly. Playoffs right now, it's not even on my mind. That's more of a next year type thing and the following years type thing. But right now, I think the most realistic, if they can get to 7-8 wins, then we can start talking about playoffs.
Let's see it, man. Shock the world. All gas, no break. You already know what's good. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the stream here. We appreciate all you guys tuning in to another Jets Media live stream. I'll be live a lot more often leading up into the season, so make sure you stay tuned. Check out Ali's YouTube channel as well. He's posting content over at Loyal and White Jet fans. You guys know where to find us, Instagram, Twitter. You know what's good. We appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out if you do not already. We greatly appreciate it. We got so much coming. The Jets are back. Football is back. It feels good. And let's go Jets. And rest in peace, Joe Walton, of course. I forgot to bring that up. Jets legend coach. I was too young enough to experience him live, but I know a lot about him from my family. So anything else you want to say before we end it, Ali? Peace out.
Yeah, I mean, we're finally back. I mean, last time I think we didn't stream when me and you finally met. I met Matt O'Leary and Ryan from Jets Talk, and we're finally meeting content creators, which is awesome. I didn't meet Jack yet though, but it's awesome meeting people now. I feel like I met a lot of the fans. Actually, I met Mutt Viles
I met all these fans that have been our viewership, which is awesome to do. So I appreciate the support. I appreciate people messaging me. I appreciate people coming up and taking pictures with me. That's awesome to have at games and stuff. So I appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, man, agree. Anybody that's been recognizing me at Jets training camp and Mets games, don't hesitate. If you recognize me, come up. I love to talk to you. I love to take a picture. It's awesome. So really do appreciate you guys. Without you, none of this is possible. Let's go, Jets. We're all in this together. All gas, no break. Let's go, baby. Jets, 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 Jets.